Hi folks, the Bifröst graph is pretty new in Maya. It was introduced in summer at SIGGRAPH 2019, and the documentation is so poor that we YouTubers and whatever's tutors are trying to find ways through that complexity of this graph editor, which does amazing things. And I really appreciate tutorials by other folks like the Maya guy who does tutorials like these, and here you see the graph, how it's developing, etc. Today I show you something very simple, but it gives you an insight into how this graph works. I create an object in the Bifröst graph editor rather than creating it here and dragging it into the editor, and assign a material, and we want it to look like more or less a knitted object. Okay, we go to, first of all, we need a material. Just tab, and that's the same in basically all editors in Maya, that you use the tab key in order to find something. We know what we're looking for. We're looking for a standard Arnold shader. It's called AI Standard Surface Shader. It's right here, so we just keep this minimized here so it's out of our way, but we can still access it easily. We go to Windows and the Bifröst Graph Editor. If you don't have that, go to Settings, Preferences, Plugin Manager, and activate the Bifröst Graph there and all Bifröst nodes there. Make it a little bit smaller. And we need to click on the plus sign in order to get a new graph. Our input is abstract and the output has nothing as to put out, really. We can delete the input because we'll create an object now. So tab key. These are the recent things I created here, so just forget about them. We want to create, so you just type in create, empty volume, mesh cube, mesh plane, mesh sphere. Why not create a simple knit? Create a simple knit. Here it is. It puts out strands which we can feed into the output. Shall we do this? Well, why not? And this is what we see in the scene. It's a simple knitting structure. We actually won't add complexity or anything to it. We just want to add a shader to it. So we go back to this node here, node structure, and we disconnect those lines here. I want to show you how we shade the knitted object here. Well, we drag and drop the standard surface shader, not the shading group, but the standard surface shader with the middle mouse button into that field. So we have it right here as a node. Now we can close the Hypershade window. How do we apply this? Well, we need two nodes in order to do this, and just keep in mind that all things need to be connected nicely. So the blue one goes nicely into the strands. The material reference can go easily into here, etc. So let's tab key and Arnold. Arnold, ray bit mask, diddle dip, diddle dip, diddle dip. And how about set Arnold strands settings? Isn't that nice? And we can put the strands out here. We can get the strands here. But how do we apply our shader? And that's the last thing we need. It has to do with the material. So we type in material, and here we have assign material. It's looking impressive here. What we basically need to connect now is this. Arnold receives the strand settings here. It puts the strands out to the geometry. The geometry goes into this object here. And the material reference, because it's a standard surface shader, goes into standard surface material. Now what do we see? This is the shader, and let us choose another color so we can see it properly, and you see already that it has the material assigned. Now we can render it. We need a light, obviously, a sky dome light. Let us under visibility change the camera value from 1 to 0, so we have a black background, and then we render the scene. It takes a while because Maya has to calculate the graph, get the material together, etc. If you want to animate this, is a totally different story. And if you want to change the settings here, go to the Create Simple Knit node here. And here you can set the number of strands. For example, instead of 25, you can set them to 4. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.